Most Dodge owners are using about half of what they paid for. That is thousands of dollars in engineering sitting dormant behind menus you have never opened. Everything you think you know about your Dodge came from a 5-minute dealer walkthrough the day you drove it home. I own 3 of these cars. A Chrysler engineer I have worked with for 9 years walked me through the buried diagnostic layer. Before the list, the one feature that replaces a $400 dealer service is something you can activate from your steering wheel right now. I will show you exactly which one at number 1. Today I am uncovering 11 features your modern Dodge already has, but never told you about. Number 11. 3 flash lane change tap. I watched a guy in my shop parking lot do a full arm reach across to cancel his turn signal after a lane change last week. His Charger has had a feature that eliminates that move since the day he bought it. That is what every driving instructor taught you. Full on or full off. It made sense because every car before this one worked that way. Your Dodge has a third mode built into the turn signal stock that nobody at the dealership mentioned during your walkthrough. Give the stock a light tap in either direction without clicking it into the full position, and it fires 3 quick flashes. 3 and done. No canceling, no clicking it back, no reaching over to shut it off during a highway merge. It is wired into the body control module from the factory. Every Charger, Challenger, and Durango built in the last decade has it. Every lane change from now on takes 1 finger and 0 follow-up. You eliminate the distraction of reaching for the stock a second time, which the NHTSA estimates contributes to 8% of lane change collisions nationally. That is a convenience feature. The next one is a rescue feature, and it is hiding inside the key fob you carry every day. Specifically, inside a compartment that could save you a $250 locksmith call at 2 in the morning. Number 10. Hidden emergency key.
It was hidden, not hidden.
Almost every Dodge owner I have talked to believes that if their key fob dies, they are locked out of their own car. I have had customers call me from parking lots convinced they need a tow truck. 3 customers in the last year alone. Every single one of them was carrying the solution in their pocket. Look at the top edge of your key fob. There is a small slide release. Push it to the side, and a physical metal key slides out. That key fits the lock cylinder on the driver door handle. Most owners do not even know the lock cylinder exists because it is hidden behind a small cap on the door handle. Pop the cap, insert the key, and you are inside your car. 45 seconds. That is it. A customer of mine, a guy who had owned his Challenger for 3 years, called me from a parking garage with a dead fob. I walked him through this over the phone. He sat in the car staring at the key for about 10 seconds, like I had just shown him a magic trick. That is a $250 locksmith call, or a $150 tow you will never have to make. The key is already in your hand, but getting into the car is only half the problem. What happens when the fob is dead and you need to actually start the engine? Dodge built a solution for that too, and the dealer who sold you the car almost certainly never mentioned it. That is coming up. But first, here is something your fob does that has nothing to do with emergencies. Number 9. Remote window ventilation. Every Dodge owner with a remote start uses it to cool down the car in summer. That means running the engine, burning fuel, and on some models adding idle time to the odometer. That is the only option for getting the cabin temperature down before you get in. Or so you thought. Your key fob can roll down every window in the car without starting the engine. Press the unlock button once, then press it again, and hold it. The windows drop. All of them. The car is not running. No fuel burned. No idle time logged. On a 95-degree day, dropping the windows for 60 seconds before you walk to the car vents enough trapped heat that your AC catches up in half the time. I use this every single day in the summer. I hit unlock hold from inside the shop while I am closing up. By the time I get to the car, the heat is already venting out. This works on Chargers, Challengers, Durangos, and most modern Dodge vehicles built after 2011. Some models require the feature to be enabled through the Uconnect settings menu, which takes about 10 seconds. You now have a way to ventilate your car remotely without burning a drop of fuel, which on a vehicle that gets 19 miles per gallon in the city adds up over a full summer. That is a comfort feature. The next one is a safety feature you never have to activate. Your car does it on its own every time it rains. We are not at number 1 yet, and that one is worth staying for. But what you have just learned about the lane change tap, the hidden key, and the remote window drop is already putting $400 worth of avoided emergency calls and daily convenience in your hands that most Dodge owners walking out of a dealership this weekend do not have. Number 8, rain brake support. You have felt it. You hit the brakes in a downpour, and the pedal goes soft for a half second before the pads grab. Every driver assumes that is just how brakes work in the rain. You deal with it because you have dealt with it on every car you have ever owned. Your modern Dodge does not accept it. The moment your windshield wipers activate, the brake system responds. It applies a microscopically thin layer of pressure to the brake pads, just enough to keep moisture from building up on the rotor surface. You cannot feel it. There is no drag. There is no wear penalty worth measuring. But when you actually need to stop, the pads are already dry and making contact. I did not know about this until a Chrysler tech explained it to me while we were doing a brake job on a 2018 Charger. I asked him why the pads looked like they had been lightly kissing the rotor, even on a car with low miles. He pointed at the wiper relay. The system monitors wiper activation as its trigger. Wipers on means rain brake on. Wipers off means the system stands down. It has been standard on most Dodge vehicles since the 2012 model year, and it runs every time it rains whether you know about it or not. That puts you on the same level as fleet safety managers who spec this feature into their vehicle orders on purpose. You have had it this whole time. That system works while you are moving. The next feature works while you are standing still, and if you have ever rolled backward on a hill and felt your stomach drop, this is the one Dodge built specifically for that moment. Number 7, Hill Start Assist. Manual transmission drivers have dealt with hill rollback since the clutch was invented, and automatic drivers assume it does not apply to them. But if you have ever stopped on a steep grade in an automatic Dodge and felt the car creep backward in that half second between releasing the brake and hitting the gas, you know the feeling. That tiny roll is not just how automatics behave on hills. Your car was supposed to be catching it. Your Dodge has Hill Start Assist built into the brake system. When the car detects it is on an incline and you release the brake pedal, it holds brake pressure for approximately 2 seconds. That is enough time for you to move your foot to the accelerator and get the car moving forward without any rollback at all. I had a customer bring her Charger in convinced the parking brake was engaging on its own. It was not. It was Hill Start Assist doing exactly what it was designed to do. She had owned the car for 14 months and did not know the feature existed. No more rollback anxiety on parking garage ramps, steep driveways, or San Francisco-style grades. That also means no rear-ending the car behind you on an incline, which is a $1,200 to $3,500 repair, depending on the bumper. Those first 5 are convenience and safety features that work in the background. From here forward, every feature on this list either protects your car from theft or saves you money at the service counter. The dollar figures go up from here. Number 6, Valet Mode and Enhanced Security Mode. A customer of mine dropped his Scat Pack off for detailing last year. When he picked it up, there were 11 extra miles on the odometer, 11 miles, and a new scratch on the rear bumper. He had no way to prove what happened, and no way to have prevented it. Except he did. He just did not know it. On 2015 and newer Chargers and Challengers, you can activate Valet Mode through the Uconnect touchscreen. It locks the glove box and trunk, limits vehicle speed, and on SRT and Hellcat models, it restricts engine output. But here is where it gets interesting. Starting with the 2021 model year, Dodge replaced standard Valet Mode with Enhanced Security Mode. You set a 4-digit pin through the radio head unit. When engaged, it limits engine output to 2.8 horsepower. That is not a typo. A riding lawnmower makes more than that. Your Dodge becomes the world's angriest paperweight. Dodge rolled this out in 2021 after getting hammered in the press for theft rates. It is a good feature, but the fact that it took national news coverage for them to ship it tells you how the priority list works over there. You now have a way to hand your keys to anyone and know that the car cannot be driven away at speed. on a vehicle worth $35,000 to $85,000. That is not a convenience feature. That is insurance. Enhanced security mode stops a thief who already has your keys. The next feature stops a thief who smashed your window, and the way it detects intrusion is something most owners have no idea is even running. Everything in the first half of this list adds up to over $5,000 in avoided locksmith calls, collision repairs, and theft exposure. What is coming in the second half is where the real money sits, because these are the features Dodge programmed into your car, but never put on a single page of the sales brochure. That is why you are hearing about them here instead of anywhere else. Number 5. Intrusion Module. Your car alarm works one way. Someone opens a door without the key. The horn honks. That is the extent of what the alarm can detect on most vehicles. If a thief smashes a window, reaches in, and pops the trunk, the standard alarm does nothing because no door was opened. Starting with the 2022 model year, Dodge added an intrusion module that is standard on Scat Pack and SRT models and available on SXT, GT, and R/T trims. This module does 3 things simultaneously. It detects glass breakage using an acoustic sensor. It detects movement inside the cabin, and it monitors vehicle inclination, meaning if someone tries to tow your car away with a flatbed, the alarm fires. Done. The inclination sensor is the one that catches people off guard. It works even when the car is parked and locked with no one inside. Someone hooks a chain to your frame and tilts the car onto a rollback, and the alarm goes off before your car leaves the ground. That is the same capability that aftermarket alarm shops charge $300 to $600 to install. It is already in your car. Check your Uconnect settings to confirm it is enabled. Those security features protect the outside of the car. The next feature lets you see inside the car's own brain, and what you can find in there is information that the dealership charges $150 to $400 to read for you. Number 4. Rain Sensing Wiper Calibration. If you have the technology group package and your wipers seem to have a mind of their own, this is why. The wiper stock has 4 detent positions past the off position. Position 1 is the lowest sensitivity. Position 4 is the highest. Nobody showed you the range. On top of that, the Uconnect infotainment screen has a setting that lets you enable or completely disable the rain sensing feature independently of the stock position. I had a customer bring in a 2019 Challenger swearing the wipers were possessed. Turned out he was using RainX on the windshield, which was confusing the infrared sensor behind the mirror. We cleaned the windshield with regular glass cleaner, and the wipers calmed down immediately. The rain sensing system uses an optical infrared sensor mounted behind your rearview mirror. It projects light onto the windshield glass and measures how much bounces back. Products like RainX and silicone-based windshield treatments actually interfere with this sensor. If you have been using RainX and wondering why your auto wipers seem erratic, now you know. You can now calibrate your wipers to match actual rain conditions instead of fighting the defaults, which eliminates the distraction of constantly adjusting your wiper speed in traffic. That feature is buried in the settings menu. The next one is buried even deeper, a specific button combination on your steering wheel. When you find it, you are looking at the same data a dealer sees on a $3,000 scan tool. Number 3. Alpha OBD feature unlocking. When you bought your Dodge, the configurator on the website showed you what your trim level included. If it did not list something, you assumed you were out of luck, unless you bought the higher trim. That is what the sales team reinforced every time you sat down to negotiate. And for most cars, that would be true. The truth is that most modern Dodge vehicles share the same body control module across trim levels. The hardware for features like global window roll-down, full-time daytime running lights, SRT drive modes, and easy exit seats is already wired in. It is just not switched on. A $50 app called Alpha OBD paired with a $25 Bluetooth OBD2 adapter can access the body control module and enable features that were locked to higher trim levels. The hardware is in your car. You paid for it. The only difference between your RT and an SRT in the body control module is a line of code that says no. Alpha OBD changes that line to yes. A guy I work with enabled SRT performance drive modes on his 2015 RT, using Alpha OBD in about 20 minutes. No airbag light, no check engine code, no dealer visit. 20 minutes. The same drive modes that come standard on a car costing $15,000 more than his. One critical warning: back up your body control module settings before you change anything. Alpha OBD lets you save a snapshot of your current configuration. If you skip that step and toggle the wrong setting, you could disable something that requires a dealer flash to restore, and that runs $150 to $300. That is $75 in equipment unlocking features that would otherwise cost $5,000 to $15,000 in trim level upgrades. The widest value gap on this entire list so far. Alpha OBD unlocks features the body computer is hiding from you. The next one is a set of screens that Dodge programmed into the instrument cluster itself, specifically for the higher trim models, and on some cars you can access them without any aftermarket tools at all. We are down to the final two. The one feature that replaces a $400 dealer service is something you can activate from your steering wheel right now. These last items almost never show up in owner forums or YouTube walkthroughs, not because they are unknown, but because the people who know about them have no reason to share when the dealer charges for the same information. Until now. Number 2. SRT performance pages on non-SRT models. If you bought an RT, a Scat Pack, or even a base SXT, you probably assumed the SRT performance pages are exclusive to the SRT models. The gauges that show real-time horsepower output, torque curves, G-force measurements, 0 to 60 timers, and quarter-mile timers. Dodge markets them as an SRT feature, and the price gap between an RT and an SRT is $15,000 to $20,000, depending on the year. On many Chargers and Challengers equipped with the 8.4-inch Uconnect screen, the performance pages already exist in the software. They are disabled by a single flag in the body control module. Using the same Alpha OBD setup from the last segment, you toggle performance pages present to yes and vehicle is SRT to yes. Restart the car, and the full SRT performance suite appears on your touchscreen. The data is not simulated. It is reading live from the same sensors the SRT uses: horsepower, torque, oil pressure, transmission temperature, boost pressure on supercharged models. The 0 to 60 timer is accurate to within 1/10 of a second of a dedicated drag strip timer. A guy I work with ran his RT through the 0 to 60 timer on the performance pages and clocked 4.5 seconds. He had been quoting the internet spec of 5.1 seconds for 2 years because he had no way to measure it. The car was faster than he thought, and the data was sitting in his dashboard the whole time. Here is what the community discovered. On some 2015 through 2023 models, the hardware difference between an R/T cluster and an SRT cluster is 0. Same part number, same circuit board, same software. Dodge just flipped a switch. That is $15,000 worth of SRT instrumentation for $75 in OBD equipment. That is the kind of gap that changes how you think about trim levels entirely. Those performance pages read data from the car's computers, but there is a deeper layer of data that lives inside the instrument cluster itself, and you do not need any aftermarket tools to see it. All you need is the steering wheel you are already holding. Number 1. Hidden EVIC diagnostic layer. I told you in the open that the one feature that replaces a $400 dealer service is something you can activate from your steering wheel right now. Here is exactly what that means. Last month, a customer brought his Charger in because the battery light flickered twice on his commute. The dealer charged him $385 for a diagnostic. Plugged in a scan tool, read 3 numbers, and told him his battery was fine. I showed him how to read those same 3 numbers himself in about 8 seconds. From his steering wheel. Your Dodge has a hidden diagnostic menu built directly into the EVIC, the Electronic Vehicle Information Center, in your instrument cluster. It is accessed entirely from the steering wheel controls. No scan tool, no phone app, no OBD adapter. On pre-2011 models, hold the compass and music note buttons on the steering wheel simultaneously for about 7 seconds. The cluster switches to the hidden menu. On 2011 and newer models, navigate to the compass or temperature screen on the EVIC display. Hold the up arrow for 10 seconds, then press and hold the down arrow for 5 to 8 seconds. The hidden screens appear. What you get is a full diagnostic layer. battery voltage in real time, oil pressure readings, engine coolant temperature, transmission fluid temperature, a digital speedometer accurate to tenths, a 0 to 60 timer, a G-force meter, a chime history log showing the last 8 system warnings, even raw fuel tank sensor readings for both sides of the saddle tank. A Chrysler engineer I have worked with for 9 years told me this menu was originally designed for quality assurance on the assembly line. It was never removed from the production software because there was no reason to. Engineers do not remove things that work. They only remove things that cost money. This one costs nothing, so it stayed. It does not void your warranty. It does not trigger any codes. That is it. No app, no adapter, no appointment. The battery voltage reading alone is worth the price of a diagnostic visit. A healthy battery reads 12.4 to 12.7 volts with the engine off and 13.8 to 14.4 volts with the engine running. If your reading drops below 12.2 volts with the engine off, your battery is failing. You can catch it before you are stranded in a parking lot, and that saves you not just the $125 to $400 diagnostic fee, but the $200 to $350 emergency battery replacement markup that roadside services charge versus what you would pay walking into an AutoZone. Every diagnostic reading that a dealer charges $125 to $400 to pull is sitting behind 2 buttons on your steering wheel. Over the life of the car, that is $500 to $1,600 in diagnostic fees you will never pay again. That is the largest single savings on this entire list, and it has been in your car since the day you drove it off the lot. The dealer is not hiding this from you on purpose. They just have no reason to show you the thing that makes their diagnostic bay unnecessary. Most Dodge owners will park their car tonight without knowing a single feature on this list. Not because they are careless, because nobody showed them what you just learned. You can now ventilate your car without starting the engine. You can unlock your door when your fob dies. You can limit your car to 2.8 horsepower before handing the keys to anyone. You can detect a thief trying to flatbed your car out of a parking lot. You can unlock SRT performance pages on a non-SRT car for $75. You can read your own battery voltage, oil pressure, and transmission temperature from 2 buttons on the steering wheel, and you can do it right now. Tonight, sitting in your driveway. Every one of these features was engineered, programmed, and installed at the factory. Dodge just never told you about them. The sales team did not walk you through them. The owner's manual buries them across 600 pages that nobody reads. And the service department has no incentive to show you the diagnostic menu when they charge $400 to read the same data for you. If this changed how you think about your Dodge, share it with the person in your life who just bought one, or the one who has owned one for 3 years and still does not know about the hidden key inside their fob. They will not find this on their own. If you want to know what else your car is hiding, subscribe, because this is the only place these conversations happen.